Hello and welcome to Modern Monsters. This is episode 6 of the Shapeshifter season, and sadly it is the last actual episode. I'm your host Isabel, and today I'm joined by...
Eric.
Alright, Eric. What form of the Shapeshifter are you going to be talking about today?
Well, the personality that I'm focusing on more is this depression aspect of it. It's more of like this physical embodiment of this four-legged creature that kind of moves around and stalks its prey, kind of similar to the alien, or most like xenomorph from, well, the titular name, Alien.
No, I never knew it was a xenomorph, if I'm gonna be honest. I always kind of just called it Alien.
Yeah, most people just call it Alien, honestly.
So then, who does this quote-unquote alien target most of the time?
Usually, I mean, it can target you at most point in, like, any point in your life. However, it tends to lean towards those transitioning from, I guess, high school into college, or even a little before then in high school, because it's really a big kind of turning point in your life where there's kind of emotions shooting all around, you mean
hormones?
Yeah, hormones, basically, like the whole, like, edgy teen and stuff like that, it all stems from that, where it's just like, it all comes from this sort of, like, whole big change in our life where we're not really used to what's going on, and it's kind of, we're tossed basically into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah. Alright, so then how is this personality so monstrous?
Well, it kind of, like, just like a xenomorph, like I said, it stalks at you. It kind of just feeds off of these emotions, and it kind of gets stronger and stronger. If you don't take care of it, it's going to send you into a spiral. It is a very powerful, I guess, it's a very powerful creature, and in the way it kind of takes that, like, sadness that you have inside and any sort of rough moment in your life, and it begins to snowball it to the point where you just can't really control it alone.
So then, I was gonna say, like, so then how would you deal with it then? If you can't really control it,
well,
but you're telling us that we need to have, like, not an amplifier, like a partner with it. Like, not partner, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, if it's really early on and you're sort of starting to feel these kind of things, you can have a chance to kind of just push it out. You can never truly kill it or get rid of it, but you can suppress it. If it's really early on in its stages, then you can most likely just kind of gloss over it with whatever kind of favorite hobby or activity, or even a favorite pet or something like that. However, when it starts to get to the point where you can't really do anything about it alone, that's when you have to kind of rely on your friends, your family, to kind of help, I guess, tame your emotions and help you kind of find where you fit in the world.
Right on. So then, because you mentioned that it stalks you, right?
Yeah.
And it's always just creeping up on you. So then what other things does it do to, like, screw around with you?
Definitely it amplifies the way in which you feel about different things, such as if you're sad, even just the slightest bit of that kind of emotion going into your mind, it's amplified to the point where you could suddenly come home sobbing. You can just come home and you feel like you're kind of done with the day. You're done with the week. You're done with the month. It's sort of
done with the year.
Yeah, or done with the year in general. Yeah, it's just it gets to the point where it amplifies the way in which you feel, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just sadness. You can take it out in the way of anger. Some people, when they are depressed, they are a lot more sluggish, yes, but they tend to push away those that are trying to help them. They're a lot more aggressive in their way. I guess I wouldn't say, like, super aggressive, but they're very kind of like, they don't want to admit that they have this problem, and it's
in denial. They're, like, in denial of their situation, and
yeah.
Because I know personally, like, I don't have it, but I know that I'd hate admitting things, because then it just makes it all the more real for me.
Yeah, it's like anyone hates to admit that they are in trouble, that they are struggling. No one wants to kind of tell their friends, like, hey, I am struggling in life. I really need all of your help. To get to that point, it's basically you're accepting what's going on. Most of the time, most of us are kind of trying to push that away because we think we can handle it on our own without making a scene.
I don't think it's more like of accepting of what's going on to you. I feel like when people do like finally ask for help, I think to them it's like they're admitting defeat, that they couldn't just handle it on their own, that they can't shoulder it anymore.
Yeah, that kind of plays into the part of accepting it. You're admitting.
Guess.
Yeah, I guess the wording, the wording accept is kind of, but yeah, they're kind of just, they know they've been defeated by this thing, as you said.
So then, aside from like the mood change and the personality change, I guess you can call it, does it also affect like stress level and does it work with the other personalities?
It definitely does affect your stress level. It kind of makes you a lot more anxious, especially in social situations. This kind of plays into the whole motivation aspect, or the whole like embodiment of the student personality, in which if you're depressed, those students are going to seem all the more hungrier to you. They're going to seem a lot more vicious, and coming to school is going to be it's going to be a lot more of a struggle. It's a tougher task, basically. Yeah. You're lying in bed and you're thinking, oh God, I don't want to go to school, because you're afraid. And that's kind of what it does. It takes all the other personalities and it develops this fear of everything else in your life. Going to work is a struggle, going to school is a struggle, coming home is a struggle. So,
does it have any kind of weakness to it?
Weakness would definitely most likely be
the light of friendship.
yeah, as cheesy as it is, the light of friendship, love, those kind of things. Something that makes someone feel important. It really kind of,
being the hero,
being the chosen one, sort of thing. It makes someone feel as though they're meaning to what they're doing in this world. It's when you're in this state of depression, you don't think you really belong. You kind of feel as though
it's like you're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, and you're just lost. You're stranded. Yeah. You don't really know where to go. You don't have the guidance.
Can't go down.
And if you have someone to help you find your way, it doesn't have to be that they're doing the entire thing for you. They're just helping you. And really, that's the biggest way to combat this. It's like I said earlier, you can't kill it off. At any moment, something could trigger it and it can come back. However, you can't suppress it for a huge portion of your life.
So, this is just like a question, but you said that anything can trigger it, but you can suppress it. So then, is there a way to tell, like, when it's about to get triggered? Is there, like, can you sense it? Can you hear it?
You could definitely, like, the
magic starts.
Like, it's always creeping up on you. Even if you suppress it, there's always gonna be another one. As they say, like in Avengers, all those Marvel movies, with the Hydra thing, you cut one head off, there's two more are gonna take its place, sort of thing. You suppress it, it's always gonna be lurking behind you. It's kind of just like it's waiting for that one rough patch in your life. So you may get rid of it in high school, and then all of a sudden you get into your midlife crisis. You're an older dude now, or an older girl, and you're just at that point where you're like, what am I doing, sort of thing. Like, I'm coming close to.
Would you say that with each suppression of it, does it come back way stronger, or is it like about the same, moderate, maybe?
Depends on the emotions being emitted.
Around the emotions you're feeling, like around that time that it starts to hit, or is it just like?
It's more along the lines of the event rather than the time. Of course, around our high school times, college times, that's when it's really tough. That's mainly because we have, like we said, all these emotions. So that point at the time, it is very strong, and that's just, I guess, for most people, that's the way it is, and it kind of inclines a lot of people to kind of engage in these very dangerous tasks, such as harming oneself, or even going to the extreme. There are other points in your life where you can hit a kind of you can hit a little hole of depression sort of thing. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be very powerful or very, very weak. It all depends on what's going on. If you had lost a loved one, it can come back stronger than it was in your teenage years, and it can again incline you to do things that you wouldn't necessarily think of. However, it could also just be a small point of depression if, say, I don't know, you lost a job or something, and you know you're gonna get one. You know you're gonna get one later, but you kind of needed some money at the moment. You needed that job for that time, and you will have a short burst of, I guess, burst would be the word, of depression. It's just gonna kind of loom on you for a couple of nights, sort of thing. You're to be like, oh God, what am I gonna do? However, basically depends on the event.
So, you seem really knowledgeable about this, so it's a little touchy, but have you ever suffered from it?
There have been times, again, like I am a teenager,
but, young adult.
Young adult, yeah. Earlier in high school, yes, I dealt, not as strong as most people, I mean, I've heard so many stories of people going to the extremes. It's never been that case for me. It's just more of just along the lines of, where do I fit into everything? And I would be pushed to kind of act differently and try to find a spot where I fit in. But it was a little tough, and that's just kind of how it was for a bit. After I found friends that I knew I could be with, that I could fit in with, that helped me sort of swim out of that ocean and find an island that I can actually be a part of.
Oh, it's a cheesy way to say it, but I like it. So before you did meet your final spot, how were you dealing with it? Like,
music. I dealt with it with music and kind of just, I guess, what most young kids of our generation would do, music, video games, YouTube videos, just stuff to pass the time. I got to a point where it wasn't, I just wanted to get home, pass the time, go to sleep, and then go to the next day. There was never a point where I just wanted to sit down and be motivated to do something. It's always, I just wanted to get the day over with.
So then, do you have any suggestions on how to suppress these effects for other people?
Indulge in something you enjoy. Don't push it to the extremes. Don't develop this addiction to things just to cope with it. However, do what you like. Do your hobbies. If you love music, listen to music. If you love to play music, play it. If you love video games, reading, movies, art, just find a way to express your emotions, and just so you don't bottle everything up. That makes it a lot worse when you start bottling things.
You don't need to be creative about it either, right?
Yeah, no, it can literally be, you just write down on a piece of paper how you felt in that sort of day.
It could also be through exercise and
it could be find a
the
way
stereotypical solutions.
But those stereotypical solutions do have a little bit of truth behind them. It's a way to channel how you feel, and it's healthy for somebody. If you think it's unhealthy that you are writing a journal down of how you feel, that's like, don't feel that way. It's good if you're trying to express it in that way, because that's the way that feels best for you and most comfortable for you. There's no end-all be-all solution to it. It's sort of unique to every person.
Yeah. Okay. So, as a final question, have any of the other personalities targeted you before?
Any of the other personalities?
Giving you the face that says, shoot, all of them have.
Yeah, I mean, most of them have, But at the same time, it hasn't been to the full extreme like others.
Yeah.
If for me,
it's like a little bit at a time.
I'm a very plain person, you know.
What?
A very clean slate, you know.
What do you mean by clean slate?
You know, it's kind of just like I don't have my extremes, neither
so
up or down. It's just in the middle. It's just
there should be a word neutral,
like a monotone voice.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I have gone through between each of those personalities. They've kind of come and gone, and then some of them still stick, but not to the point where I really, I guess, bothered or hindered by it. It's kind of just they're creeping along with me.
Wow. How do you do it? What's your secret?
I just do what I like. I just kind of enjoy what I do in my day. It's just I go if I want to spend time with friends, I go spend time with friends. If I don't want to and I just want to spend time with just by myself, I'll do so, and I'll just sit down, listen to my music or watch a show or something that I enjoy, not what everyone else really enjoys. I try to focus a lot on my own personal health, while also giving time to spend and focus on others.
That's very nice, very admirable, if I do say so myself. Do you have any other little tidbits, little facts, trivial things you want to add on?
Not necessarily. I mean, I guess if you're really to the point where you can't find anyone to help guide you, especially those close to you, if you're in a rough spot, there are always hotlines to kind of give you guidance as well. You may find that abnormal. You may think that other people think that you are weird for kind of going into those hotlines, but it's not weird.
They're understanding.
Yeah, it's there for a reason. It's a service that.
Don't they volunteer for that too?
I'm not sure.
Well, if they do, then I mean, like, hey, that should say something like of how sincere it is.
Yeah, if it's there, use it.
Yeah.
It's something there
it's
for
like public
everyone.
School.
Yeah, counseling at school. If you have access to it, use it. There's no shame in doing that, because in the end, it's all about your own personal health. Mm-hmm. You can make anyone happy, but if you can't make yourself happy, then what's the point?
That's right.
I think that's all I have today.
All right. Thank you for talking about this very deep and touchy subject.
And thank you for inviting me to the last episode of the season.
And thank you all for joining us on this short but very nice season session of Modern Monsters. I'm your host, Isabel, and thanks for listening.